Sangye chudam sogi chonam la chanchu bardo dani kyabzim lage shinso gebe chonam ge ndola penjire sangye ndobash Sangye chudam sogi chonam la chanchu bardo dani kyabzim lage shinso gebe chonam ge ndola penjire sangye ndobash Sangye chudam sogi chonam la chanchu bardo dani kyabzim lage shinso gebe chonam ge ndola penjire sangye
Rubarayisho. Till enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Kange dujingi zungwa tawa tambe pambechire tambechini tanzebe kodamde la chaza lo chumde ne rangi do gyashin rubena la sonum de bami sambanam kyan tups dujunne ne chanjunam to rema yin za sona jinche ta ngarazu chik sonam siginde sawa de shurjike chembo wa ngarandu mi ro mi tonje bala mi sambana jinchi tonje tu고 sambana jin tonje bala sonum lap chumbuji me sa matubina dendawe ne be sosi chesiki kulong kare yin remego en pugi tonda de tumi tu mizo yung chogo wa tendi gala chik sonam saya de shivike chimbres sungo res
Signor the sonam no means.
Duchomne ni chanchu rena duchomne ni chanchu number rema ins duitele chi duida yung chogore de ntaza de zozo nangi du danzi mari pade chomne eni tin chanchu la reporte de ti chombala da sonam masana ti chom tuga kona yamara danzi chombala songi tobe tawagyule kewara songi tobe tawagyule kewala 다수 렐라보지 성이도 벨라 타와규레 케라직 마라와 몰람 테바sam기 체뚱아 좀 베준진다 성이도 벨 타와규레 케알라 소남 랍침부터 싸우고
Buddha mentioned in one of his sutra, the sutra called extensive sort of enjoyment or engagement, that with the accumulations of merits or with merits, one can help satisfy the needs of other human fellows, and also one can destroy the evil here, destroy the evil, and it makes one to reach or attain enlightenment or awakening mind. So here, we see the importance of gathering or accumulations of positive merits. The first reason that we find here is that, as we see in this Buddha's own teaching, given that there are many diverse mental dispositions and necessities and desires of other human fellows, if you want to help and benefit them, then without having accumulated enough merits, you won't be able to satisfy all those diverse needs. So for that purpose, it is important, it is necessary to accumulate what we call positive merits. And the another reason that is given here is that through accumulating a positive merits, it will help to destroy demons or evil. It here could refers to something external physical, but mentally it refers to internal, like a self-grasping thought, and which can be only eliminated through gaining wisdom, realizing emptiness. So therefore, this accumulation of positive merits is required or necessary for both of these two purposes.
What the Nigala Sonam Sayadi, Luinga Isumjun, Sonam Saya, Yori, Mat, then Soanya Mari, Luigi Zunga Tawala Soba, Leje Chebala Soba, Tana Jena Nipe, Tin Jambochin Yenji, Vegetavai Natizu, Sonam Sagi Junduare, what a Nakone, Luigi Chatsova, Korokoa, what a Tigiti, Luigi Gone, that chip again, Sonam Sagi Gucci. Dry Jire. 이기고는 다 쪼쪼 이기고는 이 소남 사이에 쉬우지 개치 쳐줘도 이기고는 차리요. 보다 잠바 제와 애니베 제와 인시 첨보생인 소리. 애니베 조심지야 돼. 대도 다 포도 좀 소남 사이에 다 이기고는 소남 사이에 뭐마 차리요. 겨울무 숨도 와. 룽아 이숨기고는 겨와투비 나니 이기 겨와데 다 풍숨섭이 가와차가를 최남다듯이 이기고는 제야 최들이 이제 송도와 어떻게 뭐네 여러분 송구도 저자마인 봐. 디 누구였나 랑기 때는 베서지네. 가서 투투 소스sem나 슈다당 셈단이 잠체 칸레스 땅고도 칸레스 두고도 디 빼지네 여대 팽겨 말에 가사신질 비여네 팽겨 말에 랑기 줄라 말덴바데 덴바데 뭐 콤펜도 땅야 두스지고 와. 이 집집에나 되는 사람을 팽겨래. 어때마다 된 상황이 가서 현실이어야 돼. 이 사람을 팽해요 말. 인도가 사람을 아니 시기를 마담바다 lem바다 뭐 콤펜도 당하고 돼. 그 치수차리요.
So in accumulations or gathering of positive merits, as you know, we can done this through physically, verbally, and mentally. Physically, such as doing prostrations or circumambulations. Mentally, recitations of mantras and chantings, prayers. And among these three, the most important is the third one. The mental. And mental is most important, and under this comes. This is also most important as well as the highest way of gathering positive merits. Under this comes the practice of patience, loving kindness, compassion, all of these positive thoughts. And His Holiness also emphasized, when creating a positive activities or positive action or virtuous actions, the third mental one is most important. And when you create the third one, mental positive activities, that positive activities becomes complete, a perfect positive, deed or action. And so here, what is important is saying that, His Holiness mentioned this, and the spiritual teachers mentioned this, and it is mentioned in the text, or somebody who possesses this great quality is not going to benefit you, but the important thing here is that you need to, examine your own thought, whether you possess this or not. And that will make a difference. Simply kind of pointing at others and saying that, these are the great qualities, it is not going to benefit your, mind or your thought. So, therefore, examine yourself whether you possess these, positive thoughts or, great qualities or not. And if you already possess, further kind of promote it. If you don't have it, then try to, sort of plant in your mind.
어떻든 리드가라 나는서 칼라이그 펜더야 딘디기 셈상기 바기 제왕이지 첨베 제비 답에 탑기 차르기비 애니베 소바당 엔 존디다 되게디 칼라이그 왜 샤디오래 원에 가르치는 차거르는 아주 지소지는 내고 오라 지소진 내디가라 소소 애니베 파기 가르소래 콘 묘모도 숨이 정왕선 내바이나 소소 켈창 레드구르마도 지 트로텐데라고 말와 저와 제는 미 수지나 딜라 가보지기도 와. 가보지도 가라. 랑 기부, 젠 기부, 강가 기부 영화에 지샤기도 와. 뭐다 대wan 되기에나 오니 제외 제배는 배 잠바당 아니 저바당 오다 준비당 디기들라 시우지 배전지 와야 차거래. 딘디가라 즉 제와의 자첨부 임바데 지 공부 가라지 야와 잠방 공부다. 아니 배그 밖에는 루벤 나와자 받아. 되게 시부지 가셔는 것도 와. 제와라. 제와 니지 좀 몰라. 딩 아주 제가 가려요. 어때 되게 갔습니다. 어때 루벤 나와자 봐이나 강치증이 겨울로도 분소리 사번단에 벨라 준다 이런도 논전내라 민발도 문득이 봐. 대치들이 도망이지 떠버리기 세송도 와. 전된들 떠잔데 두가라. 저와 니지 전부 덤벼고네. 오만주 받자면 두가라. 떠잔데 두가라. 저와 니지 전부 덤벼고네. 돈발 떠잔데 그 말어. 돈발라 니지를 전부 윤데 매비 요 말스네 뜨고 말와. 니 전된라 윤데 빠도 매봐요. 장배 윤데 빠도 매봐요. 똥이 또 별로요. 장주기 셈요. 이 여배나네 오니 토다 벌씀라 개쳐와나 진지지네. 뭐는 돈돈덕인지라 돈도대 당부 사번대 개첨부 차대요. 벌도 출리 개첨부 차대요. 다른 리부 민바대 개첨부 차대요. 디나진지네 나랑도 대완덕인 미지라. 대완덕인 셈진 인치 솔된지 인친제라 당부 출리 더부 제완이지 전부대 개첨부 차고 와. 바르도 가서 사번 더불러 제완이지 전부 개쳐와. 바르도 출리 더부 옛날 제완이지 전부 개쳐와. 타마는 리부 멤버도 몰라 제완이지 전부 개첨부 인자 도스되고도 와. 어다 천된데 오니 로마 로벤 나와다 봐. 딘디기 기베 원부대기 제와라 딘디지 떠나나데 떠잔제기 예나. 딜레 규제면에 떠자 땐 자완인 적나. 그래서 면 문제 토는 로근데 땐 자완인이래요 말. 그래서 오니 리빈 남조인데 리바 이안달 때니 배낭아서 전지 직 리바 구겼던데 배 리바 탑자던데 말해. 그래서 남조도 할레비 다샤다네 남조 푸드 중에 여기 남조 영인지 기부담 받던데 차대요. 뭐다 뜬디기 뜬디 주디가 규전 뜬대요. 규제매 뜬장인 순거 말. 뭐다 뜬디 인자 직 말아서 균도 거크 영인지 니지 전부요. 니지 전부도 차대요라 니지도 차대요라 디나니 텐선 체리베 니지데 오범근지 가자들라 멤베 체리 받아서 시우지 류라 펠랍 첨부도 저를 숭도서 여름지 양양도 숭도도 여름지 지 에 국감마다한테 배 양양도 숭구야 말에 펜도지에나 아니 그 양양도 숭구와 차거래 와더니 이제 디 펜도 첨부하라 나랑도 제와디 양양도 짱고래 다든지 배자대 때가 커도 랩디어라 간지 빠에 맞아 니지 원에 렘바 미바 짤도 돈에 돈은 니지 렘미 미바 커도 랩디어라 된디가라 시부지게 전부 차대요래 그 전부 차요래 전에 팽겨 말 다지 공도 주주래 랑기 줄라 니지데 체시지 타나페 가르쳐래 디마다 마선지 카지 니지기 디마지 카요나 셈네디키 덴덴 드라기 말해 된디가라 빼게 전부 차대요래 뭐다 니지 간데스 두고 가르잖아 주고대 주고스
the positive qualities of the mind, like compassion, patience, loving kindness, joyous effort. These are something that are practically helpful in our day-to-day life, and something that is really needed in our social, life. We know this through our own kind of experiences. When you are under the influence of negative emotions or defilements, you can see what would be the result, beginning from yourself. it will lead to unhappy, disturbing, you know, more kind of you know, loneliness. You know, people not wanting to be around you. But when you look at the you know, the result of the positive thought, when you foster or you know, have for this, then you will see how much you know, kind of benefits that you attain when living in a community. More friends, you know, more love, joy, peacefulness, all those positive qualities will kind of arises from this positive thought. And when we look back into, you know, great Buddhist texts and scriptures, we see a great kind of emphasis on the importance of, you know, loving kindness, you know, like a great compassionate mind in the text by great, you know, Indian masters such as Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti. In Chandrakirti, for example, Chandrakirti's text, engaging in the middle way path, the very beginning of the text, when he paid homage to Buddha from the perspective of, you know, Buddha's quality of, you know, great compassion. It doesn't mean that Buddha is lacking other many qualifications, but compassion is specifically kind of aimed here by Chandrakirti because of its importance. And he begins by saying that, you know, this you know, great compassionate mind is important in order to inevitable in order to kind of have the fruit of enlightenment. You know, he used the metaphor of it's important at the beginning, like you know, the seed. In the middle, it is important, like you know, like moisture and fertilizers and sunlight. And at the end, the fruit itself. So somebody who is engaged in the farming, cultivation, you know, in all of these three processes are important. First, you know, planting healthy, good seed. Once you have planted the seed, in the middle, you need to have all those required conditions, you know, sunlight, moisture, fertilizer. And then at the end, your objective is to have a good fruit. So all of these three are important, all these three stages. So just like for the farmer who, you know, cultivating, all of these three are important. Somebody who is engaged in attaining happiness or peaceful of the mind, compassion is important at every stages of one's, you know, practices. At the beginning, like the seed; in the middle, like moisture and heat and sunlight; and then at the end, the fruit itself. And so, why we are seeing, you know, this great emphasis on, you know, this great compassionate mind is these are you know, based on you know, what we considered, you know, the ultimate or the highest, you know, reasoning or analysis, based on the you know, the ability or the result of the most intelligent kind of scholars or practitioners. So the point here is that, you know, when we talk about these great you know, positive qualities of mind, we are talking about something that is practically needed in our day-to-day life. And His Holiness, you know, when he you know, teach about great compassion or compassion, especially, you know, as many of you know, he kind of you know, tells his you know, the benefit of compassion, understanding, you know, that now comes from modern scientific understanding, especially people who are scientists who are engaged in kind of in the field of, you know, the healing, treatment, how compassion is important. And the reason why His Holiness kind of emphasize and give teachings again and again is because there is a good reason behind that. And so at this you know, point in the text, we are also kind of talking about you know, the same topic, basically, you know, the importance of this compassion. And especially in this section, we are talking about the practice of giving and taking. And in taking, you know, through visualizations, the suffering of others, one must use, as we mentioned in earlier teachings, your all kind of you know, skills of, you know, the understanding of compassion. And if not, the actual experience of compassion or practice, but even if you have some sort of, the glimpse of, the taste of compassion, you will see how much that will bring happiness within your mind.
What the Nila, so was in the country to war, ninjas in the country to war, Sidugala, Didua. Mipa Simjan Tamjala Mini. Ta Zungal Tandaki Nabaji, Nijisigora. Ta Dindaway Zungalde, Ranga Pane Samlutani, any Rang Kurala Tundichena, telling Ninjum Sigdua. Tati Rangla Dungal the Nungu, no Dungal the Rang Papa ina Dungal Mocha Le Liore. Tela Ninjisigo Mare. Tela Ninjum Sigor. Any Dungal the Rang Toki Dungal the Samata, Tila in pay, Tandaki, Tilla in pay, Tondaki Logi Kivaina, telling Ninjum Sigor. Tati Kashin La Pony. That Simjan Tamche, Dungal de Pachisu, Dungal Mindo by Jisu, the one of Jisu, Ran, any bay, Ran the Jing in Genso, Tendish Samotane, any bay Jen, Dungal Tondaki, some Cortovina, telling Ninjisigor. Tita, Sonam Lapchimusagor. Mipena Katsuchi Simjan de Transudina, Tedapani, Sonam Sadigana, Sonam Lapchimusagor. Shibuji Kachimbuchaura. The only thing what Tanga to pay she had a toning in me banana, limby me but so the Tiga led your dingy me but saldo tungu what a two Kachimbuchadio. Shibuji Kachimbucha, mother, the mother, the Lojon Digiti, Nanti Sungwa using your money. Only Kachimbuchadio, the Indugala, Chikaranzo Gundu. That tender Dungal the Ram the Gua Marwa. Rang Mandana, Dungal say a tabla begurwa. Tabla Mambebala, Yonga Marwa. That she was what a dusjini Tabla Bena, Junjila, Tending Jungla, Ichichi, Ledeji, Jung Shabanajinji, Nyanenji, Duxina, Nicale, Susegula, Tambo Niji, Chomatan, Nijila. What did any bay? Why I was Chaneni Niger any bay? Pagi, Juma Tunji, Susi, Gule, Lembaji. Niji Juma Sidigala, cook Tempoyamal, Taduina, Chip, Pagi, Dungal that Dungal Dembe Kanzaji, Tena, Niji Kia, Temada, Nikia, Dus Chavaina. Soron tempo chayo mare. Ta nije sidigala one jisi le tang nyumo me nando wa tisitu tande ngo karin ro mero tana ko tar lunga yimba tana lunga nyoya yimba ji sem dingni bagi ngebanya baji jungna ani ko lunga nanda ge matena ya oda semnala achi tikit kanta ta te jodan dena samje Logi, Namu Shushu Gaji Gore. Tell it your mamma in Binji Sigore. What a Tedeportu, mi batejo, Gomji, any Rangitola, Nuatambaji, Jumi Nuatambaji, Portu, Samadan War. What a tea catching such
a way to attain this kind of compassionate mind or great compassion. As you know, when we talk about compassion and explain the meaning of compassion here, it kind of consists of two components. The first one is when you look at the object of the observation, you are aiming at all other sentient beings, and then the nature of the mind, when you say compassion, is this wishes or desire of wanting other sentient beings separate from their suffering. And so these two are must in order to consider some thought as a compassion. And when you have this kind of thought sort of directed towards yourself, that I'm suffering from, I'm experiencing suffering and therefore want to liberate or free myself from suffering. We call that, in technical Buddhist term, renunciation. Wanting to free yourself from your own suffering, and this renunciation and kind of focusing on your own suffering is much more easier, in a sense that you are experiencing your own feeling. You are looking at your own feeling and using your own experiences as a basis to understand or to generate compassion, and we call this renunciation. But when you sort of directed that thought towards others, and if we elaborate a little more, that when you look at other sentient beings and then have this understanding that all of us are basically the same, basic common desire, that is wanting happiness and not wanting a suffering, so therefore may they be separate from their suffering and attain or to be with the happiness. When you have that thought, then that thought is a compassion. And the more you kind of sentient beings, you are involved in your target, your objective observation, the more the positive merits that you are accumulating. So therefore, when you aimed at unlimited numbers of sentient beings, you are also accumulating unlimited numbers of positive merits. And here, as we mentioned before, in this part of the text, we are talking about the practice of giving and taking visualization. And in taking, practice, we need to be using, this skill of compassionate practice. And it is important, therefore, we find it is mentioned in this particular section of the text. So there's really no option, say you realize that you don't want to suffer from any kinds of suffering or problem, and there's no option. But if you don't want the suffering, then the only option that you have is finding a solution, a method, a way, so that you can free from the suffering. And when you try to find a solution and to fix your problem, the proper way, that we find here is that you rely upon, standard or reliable information, or we can say reliable teachings, or text or scriptures, and you rely on that text, and then beginning with kind of some general understanding of that teaching, and then once you get a general understanding, then the first the beginning step would be even just to generating or having artificial compassion. So you rely upon text, and then reading the text, you gain some knowledge, and then you gain trust or belief in that kind of text, and then you finally engage in the practicing of what is said in that text. So the artificial or fake compassion, what it means is, that kind of compassion, although it is a compassion, but it's very unstable, and that kind of compassion can be generated only when there are external factors. For example, when you see somebody, or right sort of in front of your eyes, going through a hard time, then that will make you feel compassionate or empathy. But that is very unstable. Once you don't have that suffering individual in front of you, you usually won't have that kind of compassion. So compassion arises in your mind when there's external factors and conditions that helps you to actually arise. Otherwise, there is no compassion. So that's what we call fake or artificial compassion. You experience it only when there are external factors and conditions, otherwise not. So eventually, through this practice, we need to attain what we call genuine compassion. Genuine compassion is whether there is something in front of your eyes, suffering or not, but through understanding the actual reality of how sentient beings exist in this cyclic existence, that is, as long as they are under the influence of karmic action and ignorance, it doesn't matter what their current status is, they are bound to suffer. When you have that understanding, very convincing understanding, then it doesn't matter whether there is somebody in front of you suffering or not. In your mind, there is always compassion for every sentient beings all the time, regardless of external factors or conditions. So that is what we call genuine compassion. The compassion that is always there, that is meant for every sentient beings, regardless of what their current status or condition is.
Wada tendeji niji kewa ina, niring mi niji. Wada rangin dala mi niji. Tendeji kewa ina rangin dala mi niji ketu gure. Karizana tendeji kewa la jawadang 제바분이 거기 인제 땅 투구로와 근데 인제 땅 투나 랑긴 자기 단다 자와디 수선 다지기 와래 이나 제바부 코나 리빙 요모 저왕도 줄도 야르데 카요 말씀 중 삼르는 코투구로와 딘디발라 달라 메빙 이지 텐디지 케투이나 다 니링 메빙 이지 뭐네 다 니지 첨버스니 세달레메 장주기 셈기 무유 토마스 다티샤디요 이 쉬우스케 첨버이.
That kind of genuine compassion is what we call unbiased compassion, and that kind of compassion can be under that compassion you can also have your enemy. With that genuine compassion, you also have intelligence or wisdom to differentiate. When we look at somebody who is your enemy or that you hated, you will be able to differentiate between that individual as a person and that individual's action. The action and this person are two different things. And so you will understand that because of under the influence of whatever negative emotion that might be, that individual is expressing some negativities, but he himself as an individual is worthy of compassion. So you will be able to differentiate between these two and maintain the compassion even to people that you hate so much. And that kind of compassion is also the immediate seed for the altruistic mind or bodhicitta.
니가라 단단히 가랑주 삼당고도 된디지 인지 땅 투이나 다는 레베 깽이나 자와들라 돌렌지 제바볼라 세멘딩니 파기 콘 마주어지 제투이나 셈라 소소라 늦접대 충어요래 이 시라펜도요래 디경그럼 제 준주난도 nembo 지금 양양도 숨고도 규선지만 땐 자완이 숨고와 어디 덴덴 펜도요래 대마도 나랑서 자와든 제바뭐 찌든데네 누 삼상거라 아니 배 파져다 나티 코는 나본 나장 차르고도 셈딩이 어디 윤지기야 말 이게 침머리
able to differentiate when you look at somebody who that you hate or that you consider as an enemy, differentiate between action and the action doer. It can be something that we can put into practice at this moment too. And His Holiness emphasized this during his teachings on Shani Deva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, the behaviors of the noble beings. When we look at somebody who is harming you or your enemy, you can definitely challenge that individual's action, wrong thing that he is doing. But at the same time, you can maintain your compassion, all those positive emotions to that individual as an individual. So you shouldn't be mixing between his action and that individual. Usually, what we ordinary people tend to react to this kind of situation is we look at that individual and then we totally kind of mix to that individual and his action, and so to us, it appears that that individual is totally wrong. He is totally wrong, and so we see that as a kind of big one picture. We usually don't kind of differentiate, go into more kind of deeper understanding of individual as an individual and the action as something kind of different.
와야 다 큰산들이 참되는 봐주나 니번 니지 곰베 출스 니지 첨부 곰베 파인 삼바망도 단에 조슈 필비 셰버자오 스타 니지 파인 삼단도 세나 조슈 필야 소소라 가도케야 아니 직 된데기 펜더야래 어떻게 조시 배게 쳔버리 디양 오만주 발레 간치르생이 야외 논도 분소데 사번단에 벨라춘다 이런 논전은 뭐바다 왜 되게 되지다게 도망이지 떠버기 이제 다다 건도 주주래 등이 오한게 니제네 최양다 리발레 장스 예 너도 봐 좀된데 장주세바 최몽불라 라버미 미게오 좀된데 장주세바 최지부 랍도 중시 랍도 저버기 기나 상기기 최탐제 라틸 치와 락소 최주부 강지나 니닝이지 첨보 사다데니 송도아 타예베 남베존의 셰베 유엔데 빠드메빠 장베 유엔데 남갈서도 뭐여래 대나니 그거 채쇼데 펜도 채쇼 당보 퍼버스면 개쳐져 인자 노크란란 디니싱도 최지분 니지 첨보 인자 송도아 어떻게 인도가라 시부지 개첨보 자대요 디 좀 전에 니지 첨보 지나 좀 된데 최탐제 라티주 잡아 라서 좀 된데 니들 페 이네 콜로코르에 잡고 콜로를 뭐지 제 강도 이와때 풍기서 탐제 치오 와다 니지야나 다 자주 셈 몽고즈나 줄게요 해 차디 와다 때도 반에 니지서 봐 존지 다 되게 강가 디용과 와다 니지 전부 줄게나 애니페 자모 동방이 또야라 시위지 레라르침바레 가르친 레라르차고래 자모똥바니 세야데 단당 나랑도 바게 텐델 세야 코란 라치디 삼라다네 도스 치디갈라 바게 오니게 마tum나 때메도 고르고도 코란 원이지 유아지 삼마다네 때메도 고르 여나 란수 투바 바그 투투비 내지 고용해야지도 와. 티 가래 렘바래 가서. 가래 말당 그래. 그래서 삼당고도 와. 소남기 얘기 맞춰지네. 텐들기 고아데 타타치 렌투고 말해. 맞아 파자죠. 벤나 우마랑기비 벤디다 전부 되게 되나? 란생이 맞음나 매고도 옴바투네. 렘버 마주가 한식이 두 란싱이 두바 켈링구도 디인두가라 가자가 신질을 두바 이시 자고 주고도 라기 베케비 와부 벤디다 되게텔라 된디죠 다 로번 다와타파 사기장 곰불루두데 테섬 란싱이 두나 렘버 투질라 데요 마르텐 디그 마르스 까나고도 인도라 민경 따였음기 니베 덴들 과 참모 타셔도 되차리요 단다 덴들 과달라 위엔 덴들 과치 아니 찰 차징기 과치 다 랑규밤 멘체 찰 차징기 과데 랑규베 킹거 민경 따였음기 과데 단다 랑규비 그바 반디다 뜻나 킹거 말이 인도가 나타오네 내지 때바 두고 와랬다. 이 보다 이 인디가라 직 니지 첨부에나 귤 깨바이나 인디게 에베 똥이 떠야라 시다게 레라로다 뿡소 망에 손음 라첨부 좀 소인자 예 똥이 떠야래 레라요레서 소도와 디게 좀 미치 차고 왔다 렉소 좀 된데 디진도 장주세바 세바 좀 강도 지원들 상기기 최담지 취소 좀 된데 페티 이게나 소고 왕보 지와 대 왕보 전다게 지원 기로 좀 된데 디진도 니지 전부 지나 전주세비 최진 너면 지원 기로 예수소 와다 된데기 다 뭐네 니지 전부 파인다는 더 공용단에 무슨 거다 와다 되게 되게
Continue with the reading text. If you have the same textbook, it's on page 72. meditation and compassion. So the how to do the actual practice of compassion or meditation and compassion. Now I shall explain the benefits of meditation on great compassion, repeated contemplation of which will increase your delight in it. This supplement to Nagarjuna's treatise on the middle way says, the treatise on middle way, or engaging in the middle way path that we mentioned before by Chendukriti. We see the same quote, same citation here. Because this alone is the excellent crop of the conquerors, the propagated seed and the water that sustains it, and the fully ripened fruit at the time of harvest, I first pay tribute to great compassion. So we see here Chendukriti is paying homage to or respect to compassion and emphasizing the importance at the beginning, like a seed, in the middle, like the water, and at the end, it's like the actual food. When you look at the Buddhist teachings, the extent of the teachings, we can say it's like kind of like a sky. There are so many, teachings, different topics, and classifications. Among all those, teachings, if you pick up one which is kind of most important, then that is the practice of compassion. We will actually see this kind of citation here in Buddhist another text. With regard to its practical value, the compendium of perfect doctrine says, O subduer bodhisattvas, do not train in many teachings. O subduer, if they perfectly grasp and accomplish one doctrine, they have enlightenment in the palms of their hands. If you ask what is that doctrine, it is great compassion. So if there's only one teaching that you ask and sort of you picked up among all of these, then that would be the practice of compassion, great compassion. O subduer, if you have great compassion, you have all doctrines in the palm of your hand. So if you have a compassion, then all of the teachings will sort of naturally come to you, as if everything is in your palm of hand. So here one understanding that we can sort of interpret is that, for example, the understanding of profound emptiness, profound emptiness. In order to gain that, understanding of profound emptiness, or to understand the reality of how things exist, practice of great compassion is sort of inevitable. As the other kind of the other side of or other aspect of this emptiness is dependent arising or dependent origination. And understanding of dependent origination, usually, as many of you know, when things appears to us, it appears to us as if they exist independently, self-sufficiently, inherently, and we don't have, say, intelligence or the ability to see, the reality of things and how they exist. We don't have that appearance. So in order to have the actual understanding of how things appears to us and understand the mode of existence of reality, we need the sort of basis or support of what we call method, and among the method, a great compassionate mind. And not only for ordinary people, but even when we look at the different schools of philosophy within the Buddhism, for example, even the scholars who kind of propound the philosophy of middle way school, and within the middle way school, middle way autonomy school, even those scholars, because of their own kind of philosophy, they must accept what we call self kind of self-defining existence, and so because of that philosophy, they accept that when they say person or self, the illustration that they use is what we call sixth primary consciousness. So they use sixth primary consciousness as an illustration, something that they use kind of to finger point for the person or self. And what it shows here is that they do not understand the most subtle level of dependent arising, and which we see in the high school of thought. So when we talk about generally dependent arising or dependent origination, it has many different levels, such as dependent origination of cause and conditions, dependent originations of the main body and its different part, dependent origination of merely designation. So the highest level of understanding, as we see in the middleware consequence schools, dependent arising based on merely designation, that everything exists simply at the level of designation. That kind of understanding is yet to attain by even this somebody who is involved or attain that middleware autonomy understanding, let alone the ordinary people like us. And that happens because of, we can say, one understanding is lack of this great compassion. And so if you have great compassion, you have all doctrines in the palm of your hand. O subduer, it is similar, for example, to the precious will of universal monarch around which all other forces together. O subduer, similarly, whatever the great compassion of the Bodhisattva exists, they also exist, the Buddhist doctrine. O subduer, likewise, wherever the life faculty is present, they also are the sense faculties. O subduer, thus, if you have a great compassion, you will acquire all the other qualities of a Bodhisattva.
Oh yeah, ta dusne nije toakia de ta duschi denisore ta te dog lungda umanjube digite la samta du chene ni pe susura nije kiala toakia la pingiena ta dog lungde so pembare oda gochebare oda dusure ta dindawe ne pe toakia ni desamgi pinga mar ta chawate lembi nije mi pa saldo tane ane be tonlen nane lembi mi pa tangpo chiku ware oda dine shedigala tongwa de tangpo shi teni lemba nipa chiku dwa oda dosko doche nipa de lembi mi pa nyamlen chedigala lembi mi pa tangpo chi teni tonghe mi pa de chiku ware tonghe mi pa chedigala jambe mi pa saldo teni kondo shu zare oda lembi mi pa jule nyi chuki lemba tang ta negin lemba os ta jugin jitense de ani be soja mi zede ta soja tumbu inchini jugi semjen chagore negin jiten kora koryu digite oda dusche tangbona tonlen ni bo permarjans lembe kurim ranesom ze oda te sundgala di lojon tenu mitsire oda karse gore tonlingi be permarja lembe kurim ran sam len sidigala tambo maranso lo jangen rewa ligindiga loge chunju ma de yomare mi yang tung ma do samlo khor tung khora yomare dendiga hop de mala enbe jengi dungal lengi inzana sem chuya yomare wata teni mi chugin kansa che lembe kurim ran sam zerso lembe kurim ran sam sidiga karse gore so 상이 용규르기 동알데 드린래 엔로 제마 용규르 동알데 론딜렐렌도 시네 간지 소소 용규르기 동알데 칼레 렌도 시네 레네네 또 잠겐 니지미 바살도 또네 애니 때솔레 애니티 제가 땅 로스 제고레스 중거라 와다티 렘베쿠림 아니 장두가라 렘베 미바 장두가라 라네 베 랑기 동알데 마음반 중국기 동할때도 랭고래 있어 와다 됐은 거야.
So what we see here is that on these under meditation and compassion, the practice of compassion, we see a citation from two great texts. The first one is Treatise on the Middle Way, or Engaging in the Middle Way by Chintakirti, and then second, the Sutra, the Buddha's own teaching. And these two citations are meant to be to generate interest, a desire, appreciate, compassion, And once you have that, if you have great or keen interest and desire, and wishes. So to attain compassion, then what you should do the next is actually kind of engaging in the practice itself. Compassion meditation has two parts. We have seen this before in the same text. Compassion meditation has two parts. Taking, in the bracket says sufferings, taking sufferings from the inhabitants, living beings, and taking unsatisfactoriness from the environment which beings inhabit. So basically, practice of giving and taking. Taking suffering from inhabitants or living beings. So the first one is the practice of taking. As we mentioned before, when we look at the how these two practices are presented in the text, we usually see in the text the taking comes first and then the giving comes second. But in actual practice, the practitioner usually does taking first and then second day to the. They've actually taking and then the. Taking first and then giving second, so the sequence is reversed, and we have mentioned the reason at the last time why there is a reverse kind of sequence. When we say taking suffering from inhabitants, inhabitants actually refers to as the every sentient beings, of course including human being, even the smallest insects, taking their kind of suffering, and taking suffering from inhabitants. The first section here, the text says, this text, as probably this text is, this quote is from 7-point mind training. Giving and taking should be practiced alternately, and you should begin by taking from yourself. So in the practice of, taking, 7-point mind training says that you should begin from yourself. The reason is that for ordinary people like us, it is beyond our kind of imagination if somebody told you that, you should visualize taking suffering of all other sentient beings. And, we don't do that. I mean, that's beyond our kind of understanding capabilities. So the text says that just start from your own suffering. So when he says, begin by taking from yourself, in a sense that you visualize, you as an individual, and then you might have a suffering problems that you're going to experience tomorrow, next year, in future. So you visualize those suffering of yourself taking by yourself. You are actually receiving your own suffering from the future, and with that you are kind of beginning from yourself. You are broadening your ability to receive suffering of other individuals. We'll take a break here.